Hello YouTube! We're on the Real Programming channel. I'm its host. My name is Andrei. I greet you. Welcome. So, this is our 39th lesson. We are talking about HTML and JavaScript and the topic how in JavaScript to test locally. And we will talk for start the spec just arrived, Jumble server specs. Thanks for talking this on. We got all the cells from the Jumble machines aggregated and being served from our central server at in this address. And we chosen JSON as your data format, and if you hit the above URL, you'll get back an array of JSON objects that look like this. Exactly, you will find all the code and materials of this lesson under this video and description link to Google Drive Sublime Text Validator. The name of the city, we're just testing California right now. The time in milliseconds when this report came in of Jumbles sold since last report. A second city, Fresno. And more cities will be here. Go ahead and type this URL into your browser to see the values coming back. You should see one or more of these objects in an array. Just specify time in milliseconds. You can also add a last report time parameter to the end of the URL and you'll get only the report since that time. Use it like this. We've got hundreds of Jumble machines reporting in right now. In fact, you should see reports about every 5-8 seconds on average. That's it, just this is our production server, so test your code locally first. Thanks again for your help, and remember, the Jumble machine is never half empty, as our CEO says, Mighty Jumble engineers. Let's get to work. We've got our specs from Mighty Jumble, and you've done your training on XML, HTTP, request and JSON. You should be all ready to get some code written on to get a first cut of the Jumble up running. Now, remember, we already laid out some HTML to work from, which links to a file called mightyjumble.js. That's what we are going to start writing our code now. Remember too that we already left a spot in the HTML where we're going to put the Jumble sales data. Right into the div we label it with an ID of sales in here. So let's put everything together and write some code. Writing on onload handler function. We sure this all that had for you now, but we're going to write an older onload handler that gets invoked when the HTML is fully loaded. We are also going to go ahead and fire off an HTTP request to get the sales data. When the data comes back, we'll ask the XML HTTP request to call the function updateSales, which we'll write in just a sec. This. Right, going to test on a local file first. Like the Mighty Jumble engineers suggested, to make sure everything's working. We'll talk more about this in one sec. We set up the XML HTTP request by creating the object and calling the open method with our URL, and then setting the onload property to a function. We check to make sure everything is okay, and then when the data has completed loading, this function is called. Finally, we send the request. Watch it. If you're using Opera or Internet Explorer 8 or older, we recommend that you test with another browser. We'll talk about how to support Opera and other Internet Explorer browsers later. How to test locally. Displaying the Jumble sales data. Now, we need to write the handler updateSales. Let's make this easy and just go with the simplest implementation possible. We can always make it better later. So, we'll grab the div already put in the HTML and use it as a place for the data. And set the div's content to the whole chunk of data we deal with personally in a minute. Let's test the first. Watch out, the tour ahead. It's time for another test drive, but we have little detour to take care of first. The mighty Jumble engineers asked us to test locally before hitting their production server, which is a good idea. But to do that, we need the data to live on a server so that XML HTTP request can use the HTTP protocol to retrieve it. In terms of servers, you got a few choices. If your company has servers that are available for testing, use those. Or you can use a third-party hosting service like GoDaddy, DreamHost, or one of many other hosting companies. Finally, you can set up a server right on your own machine. In that case, your URLs are going to look something like this. The file can also be placed in a subdirectory like http localhost jumble.html. Check out the next page of tips and pointers. Keep in mind, hosting environments differ a fair bit, so we can write a general guide to this. So may the force be with you, and if you don't have easy access to a server already, setting up a server on your local machine may be your best choice. How to set up your own web server? How you set up your local hosting really depends on what kind of operating system you're using. Check out tips below for OS X, otherwise known as the Mac, the PC and Linux. You will find all the options or the maybe here. Now, I'm a Mac. Setting up web server on the Mac is easy. Go to Apple, mark System Preferences and then choose Sharing, and the panel on the left make sure web sharing is checked. Once you turn web sharing on, or if you already have it on, you'll see some information about how to access your local server. You should be able to use localhost instead of the IP address, which tends to change if you're using a DHCP router, as localhost will work better for you. By default, your files are served from HTTP localhost / your username. This here, which serves files from your username sites folder. So you probably want to set up a subfolder to the Mighty Jumble. I am a PC. Installing your own web browser server in Windows is easier than it used to be thanks to the Microsoft Web Platform Installer, also known as the Web PI. The current version is available for Windows 7, Vista, XP, Server 2008, Server 2003 and 2008R2, and you can download it from here. Okay, another option is to install open source web server, which comes with an Apache, PHP and MySQL. For web application developer, it is easy to install and manage. You can download web app server from here, this address. There are a few other open source solutions out there. If you look, so you got lots of options. And continue this theme and setting up your own server. Test this already. Press and decline. We will be talking about this in the next lesson, and here is our 39 lesson about HTML and JavaScript is end. Thanks for watching, subscribe to my channel, please put likes, share with friends, comment, eat bananas, chocolate and nuts, and drink more water, and so on. Thank you. Bye.